Ugo, before we talk about your time here in Seattle, I want to take you back to your time at Oregon. You played as a freshman all the way through your senior year. What fond memories do you have of your time at Oregon?
I'll definitely say my first interception at Michigan State. That's the most I've ever played. That's the most amount of people I've ever played in the stadium with 86,000, I think, around that time. It was just like super crazy, and like I just came as a true freshman playing, and I remember that day, man. I was supposed to be in, I was supposed to be out, and I was supposed to go in. And I was just so tired, and I just ran on the field, caught the interception, and tried to cut across the field, and my legs just got so heavy, I just fell down. But yeah, that was one of my vivid memories.
9 picks in your Oregon career.
Yeah, man, I should have had at least. I should have had 10. I dropped one my freshman year. I should have caught. I remember that one too. It was a slant. I dropped that.
You know, I learned something about you that I didn't know. Your recruitment at Oregon, you almost didn't come to Oregon. You wanted to go to Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Will you share that story?
Dang, I'm gonna say that. So, I was committed to Ole Miss, and at the time it was my senior year. I was graduating early, so I graduated early, and my plan was to go into Ole Miss early as well at that time. And they didn't want to do that. They wanted me to come in the summertime, and they wanted to bring in a JUCO DB in early instead of me. And I told them I didn't want to do that. So I called the coach. I told him, all right, I'm decommitting from here. 24 hours later, Les Miles and John Chavis come to my high school, offer me a scholarship. They ended up coming to my house later that day, telling me what I could do for the team and help the program out and stuff like that. Fast forward, I ended up committing to them over Tennessee on the day they had their bowl game in Tennessee, the Music City Bowl when they played Notre Dame.
Right.
The day I committed to LSU, that day of the game, John Chavis, who was recruiting me, the defensive coordinator at the time, he ended up leaving and going to Texas A&M,
right,
being the defensive coordinator there. And 48 hours later, he offers me a scholarship at Texas A&M. And after I found out the news that he had left, I'm like, where am I going to go? Because I wanted to go for him because he really recruited me, you know. At that time, I wanted to go for coaches, not for where I want to actually be, just in case the coaches left. And me and my family were just like all frustrated, like we don't know where I'm going to go play college ball at. And I'm at home. Mind you, I'm already graduated out of high school. So I had my trainer ended up, he knew Jim Harbaugh's assistant.
Right.
He ended up texting his assistant saying, hey, I got this 4-star DB into your program. We will give him an offer or a visit. He gets a text back saying, oh, I'm not so-and-so, but I need DBs bad in this class. Can you send me his transcript and stuff like that? And then
That was John Neal.
That was
right?
John Neal, yeah. John Neal texted him back that, and I ended up sending them my transcript, and they ended up offering me after they beat Florida State in the Rose Bowl. So, and I ended up going to Oregon without even taking a visit or anything. It was just a sight unseen.
Things happen for good reasons, no doubt. How did Oregon and Coach Neal prepare you to make the jump from college to the NFL?
I would just say, like the mental focus is everything. You know, you got to be mentally strong, especially at this level, because you have a lot of meetings, you have a lot of stuff you have to remember, you have a lot of responsibilities, accountability, all that stuff. That's all they preach at Oregon every time, you know. And their system was built that way too, like how it is here. You know, you practice, you gotta watch film, you just got to make sure your body's prepared for the next day, and you know, you just got to get it going every day.
This Oregon team this year, I hope you've been keeping up on them. I'm sure you have. They're leading the Pac-12 in defense, and they're holding opponents under 10 points a game. Are you surprised with Coach Cristobal's leadership and this the talent that they have, that they're doing so well?
Oh, no, I'm not surprised at all. Coach Cristobal is the same guy. The players are the same players, too. These are players who are hungry, who've been waiting to get on the field, you know. So they're all trying to prove a point, you know. They're playing a lot of freshmen, which is huge, too, for the high schools coming out of college. I mean, for the high schools trying to go into college. Like, I want to be that freshman playing, too. So that's just getting recruits right there. And their freshmen are really good on top of that. And they're taking a lot of responsibility in special teams, offense and defense, you know, all that stuff. Like, everybody's trying to contribute this year.
Yeah. Tell me about your draft day. You drafted 4th overall by the Seahawks, I think 132nd. What was that draft day like for you?
Man, that was nerve-wracking, man. I would never do that again. Man, I lost so much weight. I didn't want to eat or anything. I told my parents, like, before the draft even started, my whole family, I'm like, do not invite any friends, family, or anybody here. I don't want nobody, like, at the house. Literally, day 2, the door was just unlocked the whole day. Like the door was just wide open, and I'm getting mad because like I told y'all, do not invite anybody over here. So I'm mad. Everybody's trying to make a toast, and like everybody's literally having a good time. All my friends, like I didn't say a word to nobody. Everybody walked in the door. I did not say a word to none of them. They all just saw me and they just kept walking, you know. And then the last day, I was just caught off by surprise. I'm like, who's the Seattle number calling me? I'm like, hello. I walked back to the TV and it was John Snyder. I was like, oh my God, it was just epic.
Had they showed interest in you in the combine and conversations that you talked to them?
I talked to my DB coach at the combine, but everything else was just like a secret. Like I didn't hear nothing from him or anything like that.
You've been getting playing time. You haven't started yet, but you're playing the nickel position and the safety position. How are you doing here? How are you fitting in with this team?
I feel like I'm fitting in pretty well. I'm just doing what I'm asked to do, especially what they drafted for me to do. So that's what I'm trying to bring to the table every day I come to work.
Who mentors you, some of the veterans here? Who are guys that you lean on to give you help?
I talk a lot to Bobby. You know, he's a guy who just knows X's and O's and outside of football too. You know, and KJ is a really smart guy too, especially outside of football too. Those two guys like have it all written down, man. Like there's always life after football, so you don't want to just put all your eggs in one basket just for football. You can branch out and do other things.
How big is the jump? I mean, playing at Oregon was high level, but how big is that jump from Division I, Pac-12 up to the NFL?
Oh, it's a huge jump because when you watch the film, it's very different now. It's a copycat league, and you got to know people's names, like all that stuff, man. College football, doesn't matter. You just do remember the jersey number. You can just get by with it. But in the NFL, you got to know names, all this stuff, all about tendencies, everything like that. Because a person carries whatever they do. They don't just change. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Jason doesn't turn into Santa Claus. You know, so they stay who they are. You know, and that's really big.
More film work for you in the NFL?
Yeah, a lot of film work. You know, like I said, tendencies, personnel, all that stuff. Who gets the ball this amount of times, and all that stuff.
What about Coach Carroll? I've always enjoyed Coach Carroll. I've known him for a long time. I think he's been a great coach at the college level here in the NFL. How about him? How have your conversations gone with him? What kind of coach is he for you?
Oh, he's a great coach. He's been he's been doing things to like point out like little things on my athletic ability. Like I said, I watched him in college football too when he was at USC. I wanted to play for him too, what he was doing with them dudes out there. But he's a great coach, you know. He's just making sure I'm on top of my game every time because, you know, my opportunity will come, and he likes what he sees out of me, you know, and I just want to continue to harp on those things that I'm doing that impresses him.
So the Ducks are here in Seattle to play Washington on Saturday. First, you're going to go to the game. Will you be on the sideline?
I don't think so. It's going to be raining. I ain't got time for
that. Ducks came back and won it in overtime last year. You were part of that team, but you had a couple years where you lost. What do you expect of this team for this Husky when they go up against the Huskies? I
expected it's going to be a hard-fought game. I definitely, cause every year is like that. They always come out with energy. Both teams come out with a lot of energy, but it's just come down who wants it more. It's going to be raining, you know, so you never know how that ends up, you know. And it's going to be here too, so the offense got to battle against a little adversity. Crowd's going to be a lot louder. So, you know, it can go either way, but I'm pulling for my Ducks.
One final question. Ben Burr-Kirven, have you guys talked about it? Any kind of wagers on the game? And what's going on in the locker room?
We've been talking about, you know, we're trash talking about it, you know, who's going to win what. You know, he's not going to just say, oh, we're going to lose. Nobody will ever do that, you know. But I just been talking about just how we won last year. Yeah. So it's been crazy, though. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
Friday conversation, former Duck, Ugo Amadi, now a Seattle Seahawk, drafted fourth in the fourth round and 132nd overall. Ugo, thanks for joining us on Friday conversation.
Thank you so much for having me.